this feeling, baby, we're invincible.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode and a brand new season of Rebuilding Notts County. As always, if you're enjoying the save still, drop a like on the video. That'd be tremendous. So, we've had a very big summer. Just starting on Greg Campbell because he's considered the best player in our squad, as things are. We've played the Charity Shield final. I was going to do it as an episode, but I thought I'd best come back after the transfer window had actually shut because there was a few deals I was still working on and I wanted to have some more work to show you, so to speak. So we've actually played the Charity Shield final. We'll talk about that in a minute. We're on the first day of the season today against Leicester City. Now, those of you that watched the analysis video know that I was very keen to move on a few players and bring in other players in key positions to try to leverage some of the dead weight into better signings. And I think we've done that. But I cannot stress enough how few good wingers there are in this game right now. It's actually mental. There is maybe 2 or 3 wingers in the world that I would say would be good enough for what I actually want to do right now. And they're already playing for Chelsea, PSG, Liverpool, etc. The Thomas Madsen, Gritsas, the Greek guy, and there's one guy at PSG. But again, we can't spend £200 million and they wouldn't sign for us anyway. So we've really had to be careful about what we've done. I think I found out a solution to it, but it's still a bit janky. But before, there's a load of stuff to talk about. For a start, the board are now insisting I sign high rep players, so that's fun. I couldn't get them to get rid of it this time. I think we may well have achieved that, but again, because of where we are, we can't sign players that match the rep because the club hasn't got that yet. Ghetto on Football of the Year, Player of the Year, all that jazz. No surprises there. He and Acevedo were in the Team of the Year for the Premier League. The rest were all Liverpool players, no surprises. Guerra has now finally got his new deal, which is nice, so he's now got no release clause, everything's good. The board have now decided to extend our stadium further before finishing the previous extension. But as a result of that, we've now had to move out for a season while they do that. When we come back, it'll be 38,000, which is awesome. But now we're having to play our games at Hillsborough this year. If only there was a stadium slightly closer that we could use. I don't know, say in Nottingham. Speaking of Nottingham Forest won the playoff final. They beat West Brom 3-2, and they're back in the Premier League for another crack at it, which means we get to beat them twice this year, which is always nice, you know, 6 easy points. They're also dumping another 5 million into our youth facilities, which is great, and we've gone up at youth category, so we're now in the top possible category with that. Still haven't got an under-23 team in a league, though, which is weird. Liverpool won the Champions League 2-0 over Real Madrid, so they are probably the best team in Europe comfortably at the moment, and they're showing it. Hilariously, Palace paid us another 4 million for Thomas Stepanek because they're just desperate to be masochists. Celso's on a new contract, or he will at the end of the season. I felt like he deserved it, you know, as is De Los Santos, which was kind of cool. Also, we played in a testimonial for Matt O'Reilly at Fulham, which was really nice. It felt like a great sort of everything coming back together, and we beat them 4-0, which was even funnier. So that's the general admin. Let's get into what you're really here for, and that is, I don't know, some signings. But first, some outs, and there have been a lot of them still, surprisingly. Now, I said that it was going to be more of buying summer than a selling summer, but when Southampton came in and said, we'd like to buy Jalel Dibali for you, from you for £19 million, I said, just give me the money and leave immediately. His contract was up at the end of the season, I think, or something like that, and they offered us 19 million for him right now, which was fantastic. So that was just a free £20 million, basically. It's a little bit less of it up front, but still, I think that was a really good decision from us, because I don't think he's quite got the potential to go that far for us, and to get some money now was just glorious. But I also had to move on to some other players, and one of those was Gael Perrier. I just figured that maybe his career with us was just stalling out. He wasn't playing a lot of games. West Ham came in, they said, we'll give you 20 mil for the guy, gets his wages off the book, stops him complaining, and so we did the deal. £20 million. Maybe we could have hung around a little bit longer and see if anyone offered a bit more, but I felt for £20 million, I know we paid a lot more than that for him at the time, but I felt at the time, just to leverage some other deals and get us even more transfer funds, 20 million was fine, because we had sold someone else also to West Ham. By the way, Rob Brain got 35 goals for West Ham in the Championship last season. I didn't notice that when I was doing through the leagues and whatnot, but I had it look at it when I was just looking at the other leagues for players, and my god, what a season he's had. And we also sold El Hadji Silla to West Ham as well. They came in with a package deal for both of them, essentially. The deal is 35 million up front, rising to 40, and I was all right with that. Once again, I was talking about how he's a good player, but I felt like we had better coming through, and I didn't want him to disrupt the flow of the squad because he wasn't going to get much game time. With Piszczek being there and Beckhardt, I felt this was the right deal for us. To get £40 million for him is a pretty good deal, considering how much we paid. When we paid 125,000 for a guy, and now he's moved on for £40 million. The club is definitely looking good from a transfer profit standard. I mean, that was what, 80 million we've just ranked in transfer fees when I wasn't even trying to really. But I got rid of the players I actually wanted to get rid of for once, and got reasonably decent deals. Perrier would have liked a bit more, but we'll take it. Particularly with his deal being up at the end of the season. Now, into the ins. There's one massive one. And this is he. This is Ahmet Aitats, who is playing, well, he was playing for Ajax. He is probably the best I could do when it comes to wingers, quite frankly. Now, he's on a lot of money, as you can see. He's an inside forward on the left-hand side, But I'm training him to play as a right winger because look at the attributes he would have as a strong right foot. I think if we could get this guy to be comfortable on both as an inside forward on the left and as a right-footed winger on the right, then he could be genuinely something. He's only 21 years old. I think this is about the best deal we could get. Unfortunately, it was a release clause, and we have paid £93 million for this guy, which is a lot of money, I agree, but this is the kind of money you're going to have to pay to get a winger of any quality. The point is, though, he's only considered 3 stars, despite having this, which means I think he can get a lot better than he currently is, and I honestly feel a bit scared as to what that's actually going to look like, to be honest. But I think if we can train him so that he can play on both sides in both the positions we want, then he covers us perfectly. Because it means we can use him on the right, we can use him on the left, depending on who's in form and who isn't. He's reasonably strong on both feet, which is very, very useful. Very strong on his right. I like this guy a lot. Now, 93 million is a lot. I think that's actually our record signing in total, but I still think it was worth doing. Like I said, I scouted the first team of virtually every major club in Europe and some of the ones that just produce good players, and there's just so little in terms of good quality wingers. Like, the crossing of 18 is the key thing for me. Great dribbling, good first touch, great free kick taking as well, which means he'll probably get some free kicks for us this season too. Got good flair. He's very, very fast. He's not like stupidly fast. I think he can get faster, but there's a lot to like. Unfortunately, he pulled a calf muscle in the Charity Shield final, so he's going to be out for the first few matches of the season, which is a little annoying. I agree, but I think it's a solid piece of business for us, and we had the money, so I felt like, you know what, let's splash out and get him. And I was really struggling to find any more signings because I wanted another centre-back to sort of refresh things there, and just some other players dotted around the squad. We did manage to find them, but I actually signed all 3 of these guys on the final day. The first of which is Tinio, a young 19-year-old Brazilian who's coming from Flamengo. Now, I did a little bit of a player search to try to find some players that just matched certain criteria for what I wanted out of a centre-back, so I really wanted them to be having at least 13. Ideally more, but if they were younger, I'd sort of tolerate it because I feel like they could improve. I wanted them to be fast, reasonably tall as well, have decent sort of positioning and off the ball. Like, it's not great, I must admit. His off the ball isn't amazing either, but he's got good leadership. He's fairly strong, but again, he's only 19 years old. He's a resolute personality. I feel like he's in the right position to become excellent for us. Now, I didn't have him fully scouted when we actually signed him because it took so long and we needed to get the deal done. Because I'd seen enough about his attributes that made me think he could be decent enough now. Wasn't sure about where he could go in future. In the end, it's 20 up front, 20 over 3 years. So it still cost us 40 million. I just felt like a player that's good enough for our first team now at the age of 19 and could definitely play for us this season and has room to grow is kind of what I wanted out of this sort of summer. And I think for the most part, we've got that in Tinio. Plus, sorry, not Tinio, Tininho, which is an even better name. Someone let me know what that means in Portuguese. I'm kind of interested in that one. We'll just call him the Little Tin for now. And hopefully he can do things. And lastly, not lastly, there's one more actually. I went after a backup goalkeeper because Kubets just isn't great. And I'm concerned that Marvin Suarez might start to angle for a move. So I wanted to kind of nip that in the bud and get someone in. So this is Juan Carlos Aguilar, who's coming from Santos. I've had my eye on him for a while now, like several seasons, and he's just never shown any signs of dropping away from this potential. So, put them in. It is 17 in total, with like 9 up front, with others in clauses. So again, it's still a decent amount of money, but I've just felt that we needed a more competent backup goalkeeper that actually has that room to improve. There was the guy from Rangers who's still there, Michael Lavery, but we won't be able to sign him because he will want to be a first-choice goalkeeper. And I understand that, but we're not going to give him that because Marvin Suarez. He's my kind of, if someone comes in for Suarez, we immediately go get Lavery because he's still there and doesn't seem to be moving anytime soon, even though he's still considered like 4.5-star potential. So, I don't know, weird. This guy is more of a fixer-upper type of player. It's Hugo Sandoval. He's coming from Jorge Wilstermann in Bolivia. This is one of those really obscure signings, and he's only cost us 600 grand. But I actually think this guy could be genuinely quite good. Now, he's a winger, but I'm not going to use him as a winger because this isn't great, neither is this. However, as an advanced playmaker, on support, 16 dribbling, good first touch, passing, technique, vision, teamwork, flair, decisions, composure's a little low, anticipation solid. He's not bad on acceleration and agility either. Retraining him as an advanced playmaker to play through the centre, I think would be a very, very smart piece of business. And for £600,000 to get a guy of this quality, I am very, very pleased with it. Unfortunately, Tirso also broke his leg in training, or is it in an under-21s game? I can't remember. Point is, he's going to miss 3 months now, which is just as well we've got Itats available now. So we've got Lever and him to rotate around. Once he actually learns that right wing role, he'll be even more lethal for us, I'm hoping. And just very quickly to show you, we did actually beat Liverpool in the Charity Shield final. Had no real right to. They took the lead very early on. We literally scored our first shot on target. Augustin de los Santos. Celso whipped a ball in because he was taking free kicks as I already made some subs. And there at the back post was Augustin de los Santos, which was great. We then took them to penalties. They were down to 10 men for a while as well, which probably helped. Piszczek missed a penalty. Thankfully, we were bailed out. And I can't remember who scored the winning penalty. It might have even been Darren Lever as it happened. I'm confident that we can continue to improve. I feel like the players we've lost weren't players that had a massive impact on us last season. And I feel like the players we've gained are players that can have an impact on us this season. And that's all we really want out of a squad. So a couple of injuries, of course. Greg Campbell's taken a little knock. Eddie Howe's now managing Leicester. They are missing a lot of people. Obviously can't start Itats. Someone tell me how to pronounce his name. Itats? I think it's something like Tatch. Itach? It's an interesting name. So, Guerra, Lever, Jean-Carlos Cabral, Assman and Beck up because Dubois carrying a slight knock as well, unfortunately, and he's going to be back. He's got shin splints, amazingly. What is he running on concrete? But I'm actually going to persist with Assman here because he did so well with those assists a few years ago, and my assistant seems to like him here rather than swapping these two over, so I'm alright with that. Fernandez is in for Campbell, who's got a slight knock. Celso and Jespersen at the back with Acevedo, Suarez, and then Cabral on the right. So the bench... Oh no, we don't want Kubek on the bench. We're going to put Lancaster on the bench instead. So the bench will be Lancaster, Tininho, who hasn't got a squad number yet, Turgerson, Piszczek, Keskin, De Los Santos, and Ael Banano. But if Guerra can stay fit for the full year, I'll be happy. Now, the one change I did make, or tried to make, in some of the off-season games, is I did switch this up to being an attacking player. I'm still not sure if I want him to be an attacking player or a supporting player. It worked well in the friendlies, but they were against weaker teams. And hopefully he can pull that off for us. Let me just move this around a little bit here. There we go. So, a good start to the season is needed here. Lever's still, he's got the quality to take people on, and I'm happy to let him do that. Feels weird playing all our games at Hillsborough, of all places, but hopefully we can start off strongly. Guerra can get a couple of goals early doors. Just get players firing on all cylinders right off the bat. That's what we want. Cabral, I feel like he might fade away. If Itach can learn that position well midway through the season, then we might see a bit less of Cabral as we want to bring him more into the team. But he's still going to get loads of game time. Acevedo, I think this is going to be a breakout season for him. And Cabral's already through. Luis looking long, and they're stepping away from him. Why do they randomly choose to do that? Acevedo's done extremely well, though. Lever cutting inside. Driving forward. Lovely ball in five for Guerra. One touch. Oh, great stop again. It's been an encouraging start for us so far, but it could all go to shit if we screw this up. Right, Jean-Carlos. We've got men forward. He's got to look across for the 12. He's found Cabral. One touch, set himself, finish. And he's all the way through. And on the rebound, and he's put it in. Mateus Cabral, first goal of the season. He's been involved in a lot of the good stuff we've done so far today. Had the first opportunity of the game, and now he's got himself his first goal of the year. Jean-Carlos does well. Just holds on long enough. Good touch from Cabral to get it out of his feet. Maybe takes one too many touches here. But then again, that's somehow how you get the goal. And Cabral opens the scoring. Very, very nice. One of the other things I've got Itats working on is hugging the line, because I really feel like with his crossing ability, if he actually can hug that line instead of driving in field, he could put so many delicious balls in for all and sundry to get on the end of, and that's what I'm really looking forward to. Assman, great ball for Cabral again. He's got to glide past his man, and he's all the way through again, and another strike there. He's getting into great positions and just rinsing people, and his old club as well. Nito, this is where we can sometimes get caught when we press up, but Cabral's done brilliantly again. He's probably going to... Oh, he's not going to square it. He doesn't need to because he's made it 2-0. Mateus Cabral against his old club. He doesn't seem to have any problems celebrating either here. He has been absolutely unplayable today. And for whatever reason, maybe having the other winger on attack has just opened up more space for him. But I thought he was going to square it. Just continues to take people on, gets into a great spot, and he probably could be on a hat-trick by now. This is the kind of dominance I want to see. Assman, Jean-Carlos. Look at the space for Cabral again. That defender doesn't know what's about to hit him. He's gone past him so easily. And he's through, and he's very nearly scored again. I don't think I've ever seen us play so well in the first half of a Premier League game. 9 chances created. Cabral could have had 5. The balance of the team feels very, very strong right now. I want to make sure we take advantage of this dominance, though, and maybe go and grab ourselves a couple more goals in the second half to really put a statement out there to the rest of the division. I feel like he's going to get his hat-trick today. It feels set in stone for him, and Assman, and that might be a penalty. This could be the moment for him to get the hat-trick. He's going to take it. Go on, Mateus. And he slots it home. Notts County 3, Leicester City 0. Mateus Cabral scores a hat-trick against his former club. His first ever hat-trick for Notts County. He's like, you just signed a new player that's going to potentially play in my position. Let me show you why that's a bad idea. Hat-trick on the opening day. Beautiful. Maybe Darren Lever's just given them more to think about. It's opening up more space. Or he's just playing out of his skin today. Beckhardt. Guerra. Assman, look at the space for Acevedo. He's found it. Great save by Luis. Velasquez. And he's won it again. Guerra to pick it up. We need him to get involved in this game a bit more. Beckhardt's through. He's got men out wide. One of them is Acevedo flying all the way through it again, and it's tipped over by Luis. He's getting into some serious... He's looking Alberto-esque now. Rarely ever will I feel like a 3-0 win would be harsh on us, but I genuinely feel like this is harsh on us. That's how good we've been tonight. That's surely offside against Medina. And yeah. I honestly feel like the creative quality on show deserves more than 3 goals. It seems like Piszczek, by the way, has stepped straight into the fold and has immediately just started spraying passes around as his rating's been climbing dramatically since he came on. Cabral again. And around the side for Guerra. One touch. Saved by Luis. He's even creating passes and chances himself now. And there we have it. Notts County 3, Leicester City 0. Mateus Cabral's hat-trick. We could have had any number of goals in this game. This could have been about 5 or 6-0 perhaps. Even 7, to be honest. Did Forest actually get the win in the end? I think they did. Oh no, Spurs scored a late equaliser against them. That's a shame for them. Not that I care that much. But you'll notice as well, normally in games, we dominate the right-hand side of a match. Generally speaking, this one doesn't get as much love, but today, I feel like with Lever being slightly further forward, it definitely has made some kind of effect. Now, he didn't have the best game himself, but pleasing for Cabral to just get no assists for anyone, by the way. Cabral's just unassistedly given us a hat-trick. He scored nearly, what's that? Like, he scored 60% of the goals that he did last season in the first game of the year. Well played, mate. It's also worth noting he completed 13 dribbles in that match. He is unplayable. If he carries on in that kind of form, we could genuinely be looking at a real player for us this year, and we just look so much better. I don't know what it is. Maybe the balance has changed slightly. Remember, Greg Campbell's not playing yet, and he'll be back soon, as will be Itach. Don't know where he's even going to play, but we'll get him in that team. Don't you worry about that. And I think we've had a really good summer. We've got rid of the right players and brought in some that will just strengthen us in the right places. So obviously next episode, it's so annoying. I wish that was there, but I don't want to screw things up. So we're going to be doing Champions League against whoever. Since we didn't win the league, though, we could end up with quite a tough Champions League group, remember? So that could be a little bit interesting. Our coefficient is probably only like pot 3, I'd have to guess. So this is not going to be easy at all. Going to be a fun old group, though. So if you've enjoyed this episode and you're looking forward to the new season, and I hope you are, drop a like on the video. That'd be tremendous. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. That'd be awesome as well. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. As always, hold your gun. Capybara. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.